people's rebellion had engulfed the entire Belgrade Pasture as people rose up, determined to end the rule of fear and injustice. They successfully won several significant victories, such as those at Drlupa, near Chokashina, and many towns and smaller places were liberated from Ottoman control. However, the four Dahijas still held firm power in the Pashaluk, and it was clear that this problem had to be solved for the uprising to continue successfully. In an effort to quell the growing conflict and regain control of the region, the Sublime Porte sent Bećir Aga to Belgrade. His main mission was to restore order in the Belgrade Pashaluk. Bećir Aga was authorized to rein in the rebellious Dahijas, and if necessary, eliminate all four of them. The Sultan thus attempted to appease the Janissaries, whose privileges the Dahijas had usurped, and to placate the Christian population, which was on the brink of revolt. Upon arrival, Bećir Aga, by a clever ruse, managed to isolate the Dahijas on the small Danube island of Adakal. Stranded and surrounded on all sides, the Dahijas realized that their only way out was to flee. They decided to head down the Danube River with about 80 of their most loyal men, hoping to find a safe haven. As soon as they were spotted near the riverbank, the Dahijas abandoned approximately 70 men in the village of Borcha, realizing that a smaller group would be easier to escape with. They continued their desperate flight towards Adakal Island, near Kladovo. News of the Dahijas' escape soon reached the Serbian rebels. Milenko Stojković immediately intercepted Bećir Aga and confronted him, threatening to kill him if he did not reveal where the Dahijas had fled. Under pressure and realizing his hands were tied, Bećir Aga finally relented and gave the Serbs permission to organize a pursuit party to hunt down the fleeing Dahijas on Adakal Island. In that crucial moment, Karađorđe Petrović, a key leader of the Serbian uprising, stood by Bećir Aga. His presence was a clear message of cooperation between the Serbian rebels and the Ottoman authorities, who wanted to remove the tyrannical Dahijas. This cooperation was rare and extremely significant, suggesting that shared interests could lead to a goal that was favorable to both sides, at least at that moment. The pursuit was successful and brought a definitive end to the rule. On the nights of July 24th and 25th, near the commander of Orshava, the place that had sheltered the Dahist, two Turks arrived, accompanied by 24 Serbs, carrying a firman from Bećir Aga and Tečić, ordering that the four Dahis must be executed without delay. Around midnight, the Serbs moved to carry out the executions, but resistance from the Turks arose. Kuchuk Ali fought fiercely, holding out almost until dawn. In the struggle, he managed to kill one Turk and four Serbs before being overpowered. The others were executed earlier that night. Their heads were severed and sent to Belgrade, proof of the mission's completion. The entire operation was led by the Serbian commander Milenko Stojković, whose determination ensured that the long-awaited justice for the atrocities of the Dahijas was finally served. After this, Bećir Aga, as a sign of goodwill and as part of the agreement, appointed 20 Serbian kortnezes, granting them administrative control over various towns and villages. In doing so, he effectively fulfilled the key demands of the Serbian rebels, which represented a major step towards autonomy. This not only freed the people from the brutal Dahijas, but also gave the Serbs their first chance at local self-government, which was unprecedented in their history up to that point. This moment marked a critical turning point in the Serbian uprising, showing that through cooperation and strategic action, the rebels could challenge Ottoman authority and achieve tangible victories. After the brutal killing of the Dahijas, the renegade Janissary leaders who had previously oppressed the Serbian people, the Ottoman authorities attempted to reassert control. Hafiz Pasha, the new Ottoman governor of the Belgrade Pashaluk, was dispatched with an army of approximately 15,000 soldiers, with the task of crushing the uprising and restoring order. However, the Serbs, aware of the approaching threat, prepared thoroughly for the confrontation with the vastly superior enemy. The Serbian forces, numbering between 2,000 and 2,500 fighters, were led by prominent commanders Petar Dobrnjak, Milenko Stojković, and Stojan Kozarac. Anticipating the Ottoman attack, they chose the hilly terrain near Ivankovac for their defensive positions, wisely using the natural landscape to compensate for their numerical disadvantage. One of the key defensive measures employed by the Serbs was the construction of 3 fortifications, known as Shančevi. These trenches and wooden palisades were hastily but expertly erected in just 2 days under the supervision of Petar Dobrnjak. The largest redoubt, called the Great Shanak, stretched approximately 200 by 70 steps and was built in an oval shape. Trenches about half a meter deep and wide formed the base of these fortifications, surrounded by palisades standing 2.5 meters high. The wooden walls were reinforced with layers arranged to allow defenders to fire through narrow openings, while protecting them from Ottoman gunfire. Two smaller redoubts served as auxiliary defensive points and reserves, strategically placed on nearby hills Ludopola and Mučevac that dominated the entire area. Together, these fortifications created a layered defensive system that maximized the defender's ability to repel attacks and maintain control over the key access routes. As the Ottoman forces approached, Hafez Pasha positioned his troops on the high ground known as Vizier's Hill and attempted to flank the Serbian defensive lines by sending two columns around Ivankovac. The Ottoman army relied heavily on cavalry charges, aiming to break the Serbian lines with shock and speed. However, the terrain favored the defenders. The steep hills, dense plum orchards, and the Ivankovac River limited cavalry maneuvers and forced the Ottomans to engage the entrenched Serbian fighters head-on. Throughout the day, Hafez Pasha ordered around 20 assaults on the Serbian redoubts. Each attack met fierce resistance, and the palisades and trenches effectively absorbed the Ottoman musket fire, while Serbian marksmen responded with deadly accuracy. Despite repeated attempts, the Ottomans could not break through the Serbian defenses. The lack of artillery further handicapped their assault as the Ottoman infantry struggled to dismantle the fortifications. Casualties mounted on both sides, but especially among the attackers, who were forced to retreat each time. The Serbian commanders demonstrated remarkable tactical acumen. Petar Dobrinjak coordinated the defense, ordering reserves to reinforce points under pressure and organizing counterattacks whenever an opportunity arose. Milenko Stojković and Stojan Kosaraki led key sections of the defense, inspiring the fighters with their resolve and courage. As the sun began to set, Hafez Pasha himself was wounded, and the Ottoman forces, demoralized and depleted, began a retreat towards Pericin. They left behind weapons, supplies, and a significant number of casualties. The Serbs counted around 40 dead, including their wounded commander, Karastevan, from the village of Prova, who succumbed to his injuries shortly after the battle. The victory at Ivankovac had profound consequences. It was the first time Serbian insurgents had decisively defeated an Ottoman army in open combat, proving that the rebellion was not just a series of scattered uprisings, but a coordinated movement capable of defending its gains. This success encouraged further mobilization throughout Serbia, prompted many hesitant villagers to join the uprising, and secured greater confidence in the leadership of Karađorđe Petrović. Politically, the battle forced the Porte to reconsider its approach. The Serbs began negotiations seeking recognition and autonomy, transforming the uprising into a broader political struggle for self-government, not just a rebellion. At the same time, the battle attracted the attention of foreign powers, especially Russia, whose interest in supporting the Christian Slavs in the Balkans would play a crucial role in the years to come. Despite the victory, the struggle was far from over. The Battle of Ivankovac marked a turning point but did not end the Ottoman efforts to suppress the uprising. The Serbs had to remain vigilant, constantly defending their positions and organizing resistance across a wide area. Yet the successful defense of the Shanchevi and the defeat of Hafez Pasha's forces gave the rebels renewed hope and a clear example of what could be achieved through unity and tactical preparation. The Battle of Ivankovac remains a symbol of Serbian resistance and the beginning of the path toward final liberation, and its lessons in defensive warfare, leadership, and resilience are still studied and remembered in Serbian history.